The county engineer, or the county attorney wrote up a letter and it seems to be working so far.
Sure, I'm gonna sit on my lap.
I'll pass.
Want the windowsill?
Oh, chair.
That's nice, Jake.
Figured I'd offer.
Someday we'll get an office at all of us.
What? Why would we do that?
Didn't say when, I said someday.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. We have a forum, so I'll call the meeting to order and take a motion to approve the agenda and minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda minutes.
I'll second that.
Move in second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, motion carried. Rich.
Morning. We turned the rock run in for getting quotes, and we'll get them back 22nd or 23rd of May. Roughly about 200 miles of roads and about 40,000 tons of rock we're estimating for this year's rock run. Seemed to be the guys, we didn't have a lot of snow plowing this year, so a lot of rock is still on the roads that they've minimized how much they think they need to have out there. So just for information on that. Also, I got some information. I think it was probably Tuesday last week, Tuesday morning, late Monday maybe. I don't know if we'll have the opportunity to look at anything, but the city of Duluth was trading in, I think it was 10 140M all-wheel drive motor graders. CAT usually tells us when they're doing that. They're 2020 models with anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 hours on them. So they got, for us, it'd be like a year's worth of work or service on them, but they're selling for around 280-some thousand, which is substantially cheaper than a brand new one. We're looking at one over in Mitchell County. I don't know, our budget's just the way it is right now. I think we could probably sneak one, but I don't know. I emailed today, I think 8 of them are already spoken for. So we'll see if there's any leeway at all. But I didn't know if you guys thought we could. I mean, it won't be until next fiscal year. I know we've got our equipment budget in fiscal year 26 for the 2 new trucks, but depending on how fiscal year 25 ends, there might be money available to possibly purchase something. We can move things around to possibly do it. But I wanted to know if you guys were interested in maybe trying to chase any of it. It sounded like Winnebago was looking at one also. So it's maybe a way to get a newer machine in and probably send a Volvo down the road too. So it's kind of seeing if you guys.
I'd pursue it.
Okay.
I mean, we know what the new ones cost, and these are still.
They should be in good condition.
We had them, what was it, well, did we do it? Both counties got them about 5 years ago. We had those 12M3s, all-wheel drives we got from Duluth, and they were in pretty decent shape. I mean, they run them in the salt, so there's a little bit of corrosion on sheet panels and stuff, but they've been working out for us. So, I mean, I think it's a great way to upgrade some of the newer equipment. We've got some machines that have some higher hours on. We can pull these in and put the higher hour machines back on the snow routes instead of full-time machines. But if you want, I can look into that and kind of tell them that we want to really kind of pursue it too. I don't know if we'll be able to get any or not, but it sounded to me this morning that eight of them were spoken for already. So
Okay, are these DEF machines?
yeah, they're 2020s, so they're gonna have. So that's that. And then Jackie sent out some TIF stuff on what we had for pipes. And I remember when we were looking at quoting, getting our TIF dollars, we wanted estimates of what we thought it was gonna cost to do a lot of these culverts. Well, we're able to save a lot of money on what we're doing out there. Our box culverts, we won't need to put box culverts in. We can put pipe in and we can do it ourselves for cheaper. So we're gonna have some TIF money left over, and I don't know if there's any way to amend that TIF and use it somewhere else. I don't know that, and Jackie, I don't know you had said it
I'm
was
gonna have
just
to
for
go
that
to
too,
legal.
but I just,
I'm gonna have to
just-
go to legal.
yep, no, I'm just letting you know that we won't use it all, and maybe there's a way. I don't remember what they all put, we had highlighted what projects we were gonna put in, and I don't know if even Wheelerwood got put in there. I know the whole list had things on there, but I don't think that was highlighted in, I know that wasn't highlighted in the total dollar amounts, so I don't know if it got in, I don't think it got included, but if we have, I don't know if there's ways to
We'd have to
amend.
We'd have to amend our urban renewal plan and add anything
And-
to that list.
Right,
So we'd have to add a project to that list. And the reasoning is because things came in cheaper than we
Oh,
had.
exactly.
We still want to keep those dollars, put them into the road system somewhere, but we just have to amend that.
Cause we had one set of pipes out on 480th Street, that we had put in the plan, and by the time all the paperwork got pushed through, we had already replaced them because they were bad enough, we needed to get them done. There was twin 72s that were going through a drainage district, was it east of Thrush? There was those two big ones that we had in there, and they got done before the approval of TIF, but they were in that list because I made the list long before the approval was done. And then a lot of these other ones, I'm gonna probably order 6 rail pipe this week to get 3 more projects done. And then we've got about 3 other ones that are just in-kind replacements of certain sizes, so we'll be spending a lot of money on pipe, but it's a lot of stuff we can do ourselves, and it saves us a lot of money to be able to do it. And a lot of it had to do with looking at the hydraulics of existing places that we thought they were little bridges, or I guess you wanna call them crossings, that we needed to get, surveying stuff done in order to evaluate it. And it turns out we can put some more cost-effective measures in and get these things done quicker, so. Just as an update to you guys on that, so.
Is there considering that the estimates came in and we saved money, is there a time limit on when that's gotta be used up?
Well, I know Jackie had said, I don't remember what that whole, I know that we had, when we first got the TIF, they said you gotta have 10% spent by such and such, and we did that with the paving. I think we had the paving done, we got the 10% in. And then I don't know how investments and stuff work on that with the TIF dollars, and I know that you had sent the email that said they were hoping to try to get things off the book in 3 years. Well, we got the TIF approved in May, and the program's set for that fiscal year already, so I don't know how that whole thing works out, but I don't know that we
Not
really
well.
necessarily lose money. What's that?
Not well.
I just don't know that we lose the money. I don't know what that all means as far as.
We need to keep spending it, because as we bring it in and pay off the debt we incurred for those projects.
Right.
Then that takes us down to 0, we still have TIF come in, so we have to spend that money, and if we need to
Certain
spend
amount.
more, we've got more earmarked now
Right.
to spend, again, for
Buildings.
the shop.
Right, and then some of the
That
interest
kind of
that's
stuff,
earned
so,
on that is
yeah.
building that back up as we're spending it.
Quite a bit.
And that's when the IRS starts.
Yeah, it's like we gotta get spent, so otherwise we have to start paying that back too, because we make too much
Oh,
on
okay.
it, then you gotta pay it back. The interest portion, I believe, so.
Well, we're gonna try to knock, I think each one of these, rail car pipe projects will be just shy of $100,000 each, but there's still 2.5 in there, and because all these other ones, we're thinking box culverts at 250,000, well, we're
just
cutting
get-
them down by 1/3 in price.
Everything on that list that you have, get it,
Well, we're trying to push
roll
through.
through that, and then if there's a couple others that were on that list as possibilities, we need to add to that, that's what we should
Well,
do.
there's always more coming through, so,
Some bridges we could look at too, possibly.
well, and
A bridge.
they're
We need
working,
to see what's on the list.
Yeah.
well,
We didn't get accomplished.
yeah, what's that?
We need to see what's on the list that didn't get accomplished.
Well, we've got I've got the list of what's in progress and what still needs to be done, but. I don't know if that's in
Why don't you email that out to us?
Yep.
If it was, then at least we have an idea of kinda.
Yep. Cause
Well, perfect.
we
The more
can
we
knock
get done,
down a
the
lot of
better.
those on that list, and then it's like, well, we gotta find some more to do if we're gonna try to amend or
Well, we
something.
just had the discussion of the airport blacktop.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing too, I was thinking,
I mean, there's plenty to.
if there's a potential of having carryover and we wanna amend, and I just found out, I forgot to mention that the city did talk to a contractor about doing something there, and after talking to the contractor, we think maybe on that road, a mill and fill, because there's good structure there, it's just a bad surface, that if there's a way to amend it, we could use a lot of that money on that stretch of road, and that would help alleviate that that funding too, so. But I don't know, like Jackie says, it's probably a legal thing, whether or not, how do we go to amend it and add more to it, so.
Write another check.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you can get us a updated in progress,
Yeah, yep, I've
Completed
got that, I
list
worked
and-
on that on Friday to kind of find out where everything was balanced out at.
then I think if we need to make some amendments, we probably should, because
Well,
when we get done, if we're saving money on something, we need to push it on the other.
Right, and then I didn't know how, like I said, it would be nice if it was all just, what we don't use here, we can use it, cause since we already have TIF out, but that's, you know, there's
Separate
different
projects.
projects.
It's too bad there wasn't more listed on.
Well, and that was the thing, you know, it was like, put an estimate together, I don't wanna short myself, well, I didn't short myself, we found more efficient ways to do some things in that short amount of time, so.
There's nothing wrong with
Make
that.
sure we got
No, there,
We'll make the adjustment,
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
we can make the
We're
adjustment.
not gonna run out of projects.
No, we won't,
Figure out
we
what's
won't,
next, so.
yeah, yep, we can start throwing some more, and like Airport Blacktop's one good one. Along with some of these other ones that we might have in the program that are gonna have to, well, we can probably do with local money and still kick them out, so. Anyway, just wanted to give you an
Yep.
update.
No, sounds good. Guys got anything else?
I got an email from, did you guys get an email from the Northern Country Club?
I don't think so.
Hey, Mike Jacobs sent me an email with pictures. That curve, and then they bounce off it to get in the country club. They're throwing rock all over the road. And they're worried now that we turned it into a bicycle trail, that somebody's gonna,
Needs to be swept, you mean?
yeah,
Turn it
he's-
into
How do you
Oh,
mean?
It's a bike
It's a
route,
bike
it's not a
route.
Bike route. We didn't make it a trail.
well, a
We did
bike
not.
route.
Right.
yeah.
Now, we gotta be careful because if it's a trail,
No,
we have
it's a
to-
bike route that we turned it into, and there's a lot of rock in there, but they were wondering if secondary roads would be interested in doing a little blacktop on the approach before you get on the highway there, but it's just something for you to think of, it's a private, yeah, it can
Right,
open up a real can of worms.
if it ends up being,
It's their driveway.
yeah.
That's why I said it's a private driveway, so it could end up opening up a whole can of worms, but
If our
they sent me an
shoulders,
email and I brought it to your
no,
attention.
that's fine, if our shoulders seem to not stick, we could, I'm trying to think if we have any millings, asphalt millings, or get a hold of some asphalt millings, we can pack in the shoulders, and that would reduce the amount of what gets drug in and out, but they might wanna consider asphalt millings in their driveway approach too, if they can find some. So,
Anyway, I brought it to your attention.
Alright, anything else? Okay. Drainage, John is actually on first, so.
Good morning.
Hey, John.
I've been up here for a little while, but, unfortunately, you know the reason I'm here, we had a unfortunate departure. Just wanted to come and go over the list of projects we had, and then, I'd mentioned to a couple of you, we have been doing, for some counties, just to help take some of the load off of the drainage clerk, drainage watchman services at a reduced rate, trying to just make it so that that is less of a burden to the county staff, and they can focus on their primary job, and our staff who is local can help cover that. To that end, I've got Colton here. I'm sure you remember Colton. He came up with Jacob quite a few times. He's a recent PE, this last year, got his license. He's been very familiar with the work that Jacob's been doing. I'll maybe have him run down a summary of the project list that we have real quick, if there's any questions or concerns. I know you and Val have been talking and making sure we have that list complete. Also with us, I've got Nathan Schmidt, lives in Garner, works in our Algona office and does drainage out of that office. And to that end, I brought, if you wanna look at today, or we can put together an example for Worth County. He does the Cerro Gordo Watchman, same type of work, same effort. Like I said, he's in Garner, so it's what, about 45 minutes from here?
45 minutes today.
So, pretty easy to respond to any immediate issues. And then, like I said, we've got Colton who's been going over the larger list of projects to manage that. And the two of them would do a lot of the coordination to make sure stuff happens. But, maybe we'll start with Nathan, we can then go back to the project list real quick. Nathan, you wanna just give an introduction of yourself? Also a new PE this year.
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, Nathan Schmidt, like John said, living in Garner, work out of our Algona office. Again, do primarily ag drainage stuff. A lot of work in Cassuth County, Hancock County, and Cerro Gordo County are ones I do a lot for right now. Recently been doing a lot of the Cerro Gordo County work order stuff. I think that's been going pretty well. They had Rodney before, I don't know, I'm sure if you probably know Rodney, who recently got out of it. But, yeah, anyway, that's been going good. A lot of that has been, when they get work orders in, they send them to me. I usually check, make sure it is actually a district facility. We've got all their GIS shape files, so I'm able to go in, make sure where they're requesting is actually on a district facility. From there, we can set up however you guys feel like, but with Cerro Gordo County as an example, anything under $20,000, they usually just say, get a contractor out there, get it fixed. Anything over 20,000, they like to have a report or just some follow-up, hey, what's the damage, what needs to be done? And obviously, once you get to that 50,000 threshold, you still need to have a hearing with the district, so it's kind of how it's set up in Cerro Gordo County right now. I guess what I do is we've got our GPS units, so I'm able to go out there and get actual GPS shots, get photos. I can hand that over to the county as well. That way you guys have some data for which lines seem to be getting a lot of work on too, so that's kind of a nice little bonus of it. As far as any of that, all I'd really need to get going, if we do wanna do some work order stuff or some watch person stuff, would be just the Worth County shape files for district facilities.
We should have that.
We should have that, perfect. And then, any, contractors that Worth County typically likes using, I'm sure there's some local guys that like to try to keep it local, just keep costs down too. So that's how we've been handling it in Cerro Gordo and how we try to handle it in Worth County as well.
How do you deal with the contractors that are like already in the field and ready to go? Cause we have those.
Yeah, we always run into this situation, and it's, they're out there working on something, and all of a sudden they're in a district tile or whatever you wanna call it, and it's like, we can't expect them to wait, and then you're gonna have, you know, extra fees if they go home, come back a week later after we approve it. So we have, you know, we just back approve it, so I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's an issue, and Val and I were talking about that a little bit ago,
So.
a lot of that small stuff, it's just more documentation, so.
Yep.
As much that probably still gonna be more you just giving them the form and getting documented rather than us having to chase them down. This would be more like that stuff that's intermediate, you're not talking a large repair, you're talking a tile blowout, we need to
Right.
go out and do that little bit of field work and research. We're not gonna sit there and babysit it all day long, we're gonna go out and check it,
So,
make sure we know what's going on and then get it scheduled, and that's really where we.
that contractor's not coming back if he doesn't do it proper.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that
Yeah,
hired him to
just-
do whatever he's doing anyway, and finds out he jerry rigged it, what do you wanna call it? He's
Right.
probably not gonna get back, so.
For the most part, we're just gonna work with whoever's there to
Yep.
get it done. We're not trying to stick it, you know, we're only using this contract, we're only doing this.
Yep.
If somebody's there, we got it documented, if something goes wrong, we can always track it down later, so.
And we've got a great list of contractors in the area.
Yeah.
that I don't think we're afraid to use any of them. They're all got good names with us, you know, so.
Getting the one that's most available is usually.
Yeah, that's usually it.
Sometimes
Yeah,
what's
or
going
get there
on,
fastest
especially-
because somebody wants to plant.
Especially during springtime when people try
Oh,
to
yeah,
get stuff done.
That's when you find out about it.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of planting or right in harvest, and
Yeah.
I've got a couple days at most that I wanna spend messing with this.
One or two every week or more, it's been coming through, which is apparently.
Yeah, and that's what reminded me to bring this up, cause Jackie had mentioned that, and I think Val, you mentioned that they're just coming in right now, and that's when it happens.
Last time we had a deep freeze, we had the same situation, the tiles it just wrecked them, and it's, you know, I think that's probably what happened again this spring, is get a deep freeze and these shallow tiles that just can't handle it, some of the older ones anyway, so.
Yeah, that's right.
But, anyway.
So would that be a contract situation?
So we do that as a contract because it is a reduced rate, but it's an annual one, so every year, if you wanna move on to something else, we adjust it, but,
It's something to consider, I think, kind of put proposals together on cost.
yeah, like I said, I've got the one from Cerro Gordo, if you wanna look at that one, or I can send you one that's
Why
updated.
don't you send us each one or whatever, so we can look
Okay,
over and,
we can do that.
yeah. That'd be great.
And then Colton, you wanna give some, what the summary of work we got right now, what do we need to address?
Yeah, and I think Val and I have gone through this and cleared everything up, but you know, we have DD6 and DD7 reclasses. Alex Petiti out of our Spencer office, he does a lot of our reclass work, always has, so he's really close on DD7 is my understanding. So we'll be scheduling that hearing sometime soon. DD14 ongoing south of Northwood, and then DD18 the Army, we're still waiting to hear back on the Army Corps. I need to send them an email,
Okay, thought you had
because
heard back on that, but I thought it was a.
they had said, you know, give us a couple weeks, we're still waiting for some clarity, and that was probably 3 weeks ago. So I'm gonna follow up with them.
Perfect.
That's the one that, off the interstate that heads like to Minnesota, right?
South of Joyce.
Oh,
It's, the one that Rugness went in last year, they had issues with it, they dug and they found collapsed tiles and tree roots, and he's got 1,000 feet of open ditch there right now, actually, I think yet, that they just left open, cause it's old shallow way, I think, if I remember right, it's been patched 100 times already.
Yeah, we did work on that.
And that's when you guys proposed a tile, and then, like, Paul Tunnel was one, a few other guys were like, how about an open ditch, cause
Okay.
we want up that coefficient.
so that's that one.
Yep.
They're trying to decide open ditch versus, okay.
Yep.
Sorry. We had a lot of them
Yeah.
Yes,
going too.
yeah,
Yes, and that sounds like a similar situation to DD 6/7. They have an open ditch, that they might like to turn into a tile. It sounds like they want it investigated. I don't know, it's an open ditch system, you know, we can look at just doing the lateral. We could do a little bit of survey downstream just to see how the main's doing. I think it was cleaned out pretty recently. I think when we were looking at the records, it was something like 2012 or something like that.
I think that sounds about right.
That they cleaned out more of it, so it should be in pretty good shape. We can take a quick look. Let's see. AJ and I just talked about DD 45 not that long ago, private tile issue. And DD 21 west, the mitigation bank, we have, oh shoot, what's his name?
Ian Boots.
Ian Boots Miller, yep. He's been working on that. He's out of Ames, I believe. Yeah, so DD 72, the appeal for that is ongoing. So Bob just sent in he asked questions of the judge and the district judge, trying to get some clarity on the ruling, which is like a precursor step to filing the appeal. The appeal should be pretty short and relatively painless, because it's just gonna involve Bob writing up a few pages essentially. It won't involve, you know, going to courts. Won't involve us providing any more testimony. But he will be, you know, he'll be seeking our input on that. DD 48 annexation hearing, that's next month. We don't have, right now, we don't have any proof that that guy has tiled into DD 46. So if you remember, the issue was, they believe that the landowner on the northeast end had crossed the watershed boundary to tile into 46. We weren't able to find any like history in the aerial photographs that he would have done that. It's possible for the district to send somebody out to dig it up and verify. And we haven't contacted the landowner yet, so we can send him a letter as well and see if he'll offer up his tile maps. That would be the easiest solution.
they're by Silver Lake, right?
The northwest corner, not the northeast corner of 46.
I believe it was northeast.
You got a map there.
No, it's up in the northwest corner. It's Rugland.
Rugland, right?
It's where he tiled to the north of him,
Yeah,
Okay.
and they annexed all of that in.
yes,
The northeast one is where we're trying to go from the interstate and clean that ditch out and straighten it out all the way to the Minnesota
there
border.
you go.
Yeah, there's two things going on, one on,
Yeah, one of the,
Right. Yeah.
two different directions.
And this is where, you know, I think Nathan and our AIM survey guys are gonna, in the future, we're gonna look at surveying the ditch through here. You know, there's a lot of trees. It's gonna be, the vast majority of the cost is gonna be in tree clearing,
Yeah, it is,
but
east of Hickory.
east of it, yeah.
yeah, to state line, yeah.
Okay,
And that
is that it?
that covers it, I believe. So, I mean, the reclasses will be kind of ongoing in the background. Obviously, you've got that hearing next June. Timeline wise, DD 14 should be wrapped up by think by the end of June on construction.
Good.
Was there any deadlines on that? I mean, I know we've had some mix up with railroads and the pipeline and all that good blah, blah.
Yeah, we are past the completion dates.
That's what I thought.
Their insurance company sent something to Val to confirm that, you know, they were still making progress, so. But yeah, the natural gas company was the main holdup.
Yep.
That took several months to sort out the permitting, but otherwise, construction progress has been good.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good spring to work out there, I know, other than some issues with ground conditions, but.
Yes, so, I mean, so then 18, we're gonna, you know, probably 18 is probably the next priority after that, and then getting someone up to DD6 lot 7 and the DD 46 downstream.
Okay.
Would be the next two priorities.
Perfect.
And you still have DD3 lot 8 ditch cleanout on there, right, with the DNR? On that list, I
Yes.
sent that in the email too.
Where's
Right.
three?
Yep, Rob Patterson,
Yep,
Oh,
yes, that
Oh,
email.
gotcha.
That's one of the rice leak.
that's right, yeah. I know it's clean out or basically take care of the trees and stuff and whatever needs to be done in there.
You guys just gonna help us get through the permit process on that, right?
Yeah,
DNR.
absolutely.
With the DNR, yeah, like that's what we were asking. 'Cause it's not like it's a tunnel, it's a large project, it's just.
No.
We
No,
just gotta
but
get
it
through that
is
permit process.
pretty
Half mile of ditch or something like that, isn't it?
cause I looked online to try to do that and that's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, yep.
So basically, there's a drainage just all the way through Rice Lake.
Yes, there was.
So can we go on the other side of Wheelerwood, or, yeah, and clean that out too?
I mean, yeah, that ditch.
There's a lot of down trees, dead water in there, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, and even if it weren't a drainage ditch, you can still go downstream if even the private ditch
Yeah.
is causing an issue.
I mean,
But yes, it is a district ditch.
Ultimately,
all
the
way
dam
through.
controls the level of that
Yes.
outlet anyway.
Yeah, you're not gonna get lower than that, but if the trees in that,
It just-
that
yeah.
waterway are still blocking it.
I don't know if that's causing any issues or not, I mean, actually, it's a ditch that I'm involved in, I have an outlet to that ditch, and I'm so high up that I've never had any issues, but I know down on the bottom in the outlet area, I know the people that farm around there have a backhoe out there now, and a lot of willows, and I don't know if they're mowing them off, or they're having some tile issues there or what, but.
Yeah, no, that's my recollection, is we were just helping with the permitting. But-
Yep,
But
basically,
yeah,
permitting
if
process.
for some reason we need to go downstream, we can,
Okay, we'd have to look at that.
we'd be able to.
See how it goes, get trees out of there so we can stay ahead of the spray schedule and go from there, so. Okay, perfect. Anything else, guys?
I don't believe so, yeah, I mean, I know Nathan mentioned, I've been doing watchman work in Dallas and Boone counties the last couple of years, and yeah, it's, you know, especially once you get a good rapport with the contractors, in terms of just, we don't have to go visit every little pothole, you know, just getting photographs and verifying, and, but if it does reach a certain price threshold, be it 10,000 or 20,000, we can an estimate. You know, we have put projects out for quotes before, not full bids, but just send them to some select contractors and get them quotes, so.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks, guys, appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Updating
Nice to
us.
see you guys again.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice to meet you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
all right. Claims, was there any claims today?
Some warrants and some regular.
Taking a motion to approve the claims.
I'll motion to approve drainage claims.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion will carry. Now, we also, you give me the work order too,
Yeah, Mark Levick,
or, work order from Mark Lovick.
DD 72 lot 1.
So I'll take a motion to approve that work order.
Motion to approve the DD 72.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. There we go. Okay. Any other pop-ups?
No,
Okay.
Good for now.
maybe once I get it to my computer this morning, I'll probably have another one, but
That's fine, alright. How about any claims today? Take a chance to
We've got a pending claim.
pending claim? Any motion to approve the pending claims then?
I'll make a motion to approve the pending claims.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
No further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion will carry. Alright.
That's the engine,
What?
that's the engineers. I just need your signature on the bottom on
Oh.
those three.
Down here,
Yeah,
owner signature?
yep, that's you.
Unknown caller.
The pay request for,
Motion to approve the paper, so we need
oh, I
that.
already did. That's
Okay, that's what I thought we did, yeah.
But that's what that is, right, the pay request
Yep.
for conservation building? Got that one.
For 1 and 2, it's in the
Yeah,
claims.
yep, yep.
I think I got all those.
Just ready to sneak off?
Yeah. Oh, I'll give her these two.
There we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Reports.
Motion to approve reports.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Moving second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion will carry. Any payroll eligibility, sheriff?
Longevity.
Sheriff's departments. Chad, Denise, and John. Motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve the payroll changes.
I'll second that.
Moved and second. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion will carry. Any liquor or cigarettes today?
Nope.
Annual manure management plan?
Send them to you.
I'll motion to acknowledge the management plan for Nate and Melissa Mortz.
Is there
I'll
a
second that.
And
Moved
Craig
and second.
Benjigurtis was in that too, I think.
Was it the second one?
Craig Benjigurtis.
Oh, Craig, okay, yeah. I was also Craig Bridger, sorry.
That's okay.
Both of them?
Both of them?
Yep.
Moved and second, no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion will carry. Public hearing date for FY 25 budget amendment.
It will be May 27th at 9 o'clock, if that's good for you guys.
Should be Monday, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday's Memorial Day, we'll be off.
Oh, okay,
I actually remembered for once.
okay, sounds good. Do we need a motion on that?
Yeah, please.
Until Enos gets back. I wanna make a motion to approve the, budget amendment hearing for May 28th, 27th, 9 AM.
Yep.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion will carry. All right. RFPs, wastewater operator selection. That'd be you.
That'd be me. I emailed Jackie a summary, I don't know if you forwarded that along or not.
Maybe.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff last week.
Yep.
Last week you opened the proposals that were received. There was one other firm that showed interest. They came out, toured the site, and it's a little bit of a family business. His father was having some health issues, so he ended up declining. So by doing North Springs and North County together, it did draw in some outside interest just due to other reasons they couldn't submit. So you received the two proposals, one from People Service, second from SNH. Both proposals meet the requirements that were requested in the RFP. People Service has obviously put together a lot of proposals like this. They have a very nice looking proposal that they submitted. SNH was more bare bones and said they will do everything requested in section 3 of the RFP, which is, they say they meet the requirements. Both firms do have the insurance, the staffing, certifications, etc. I did present the North Springs ones to the North Springs City Council last week, just in a workshop, just talked about it. And the questions that were brought up there, I'm just gonna share here is, who is gonna be the person that's operating the facility? You know who you have now, you have Jake now. Who is gonna be the person for Worth County? A couple of the owners or a couple of the people, staff members have full-time jobs already, so who is it gonna be during the week? So in fairness, I know Enos has contacted me on this already. I think we should invite the owner of SNH or one of them in to discuss this, if that's how you wanna go, if you wanna look at low dollar, if you wanna stick with People Service, you know what's been working. I mean, everything's been going really well out there of recent, with Jake, I guess has been my opinion. There were some issues in the past, but as of right now, there haven't been any issues, so. I guess I'm not here to make a recommendation per se as far as who to pick, but if you wanna consider the other provider, I think they should come in and answer questions to you guys. You should put face with me.
Okay. Good.
I can line that up for next week, have Mitch come.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
You're good. Okay.
Any other questions on the proposals from you?
I mean,
The
generally, they look
dollar amount.
the same. I mean, other than, if you look on the certifications there, People Services has a grade 4. And SNH has grade 2 and 3. Is there any reasons that you need 4,
No,
2,
not-
3s?
Not for your facility.
Okay. Otherwise, the wastewater part of it looks the same, so.
The sanitarian thing is the only thing I looked at.
Yeah.
For public health.
And both companies said that they would be willing to talk to public health about the sanitary.
Is that a set amount that you have to work with?
Yes, it
Shannon?
is. So-
Is that a grant deal again?
Yes, it is. And the only thing on the SNH, am I saying that right? SNH, is that I think I read through their proposals as well. They need to clarify the last part in there because they wrote in there that they'd be willing to do the sanitarian services, but they would take money off both grants to do that, and I don't think they meant to say it that way.
I think the intent was they could do it cost effectively if they're already
Yes.
there.
Okay, and that's all I wanna make sure that they weren't getting themselves, cause we have a dollar amount that we can pay for that
Work with
service. Yes, absolutely.
That's set, we can't change that, right? I mean,
Nope, we can't, but I mean, they were gonna do it for way that they can be paid for.
sure.
I think the way they wrote it, it almost sounded like they would do it to say, but they don't have to, there's money for that, and so that can be paid for. Oh, yeah,
And what is your contract?
that is to do in August, so I need to, this
Right
needs
within
to
your
move.
90 days or whatever, if
Yeah.
you terminate.
Need to move this along, so that, cause my grant's already been turned in. And I wrote them People Service as our subcontract, cause I wasn't aware we were going and doing this until I
You do,
heard
yeah.
through the grapevine, so now if next week you guys do this and meet and decide, then I need to write up a new contract for whomever we decide. And how we do that, cause that'll all get changed to the state.
As long as we got enough time.
Amendment.
Okay, so, yeah. We'll make a decision next week then, we need a,
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's get this done, but I'd like to have Mitch show up to a meeting and
And he actually sent me a message early this morning, but I said we'll line it up for next week, so.
perfect.
So next week, Mitch will be here then?
Correct.
Okay,
Make it back for your questions.
thank you.
All right, thank you guys. All right, Nick, up to you.
Yeah, that's me. I sent you guys an email, so we partnered with Alliant and American, and we have businesses and counties that upgrade to LED. You kind of see that project through with a local licensed electrician, if there was to be a project, so do free site assessment, put together a detailed proposal, can break it down by building, so you know the costs, incentives, and annual savings for each building. If you guys decided to do a building or two or whatever it is, at that point, we'd order all the materials, handle all the paperwork, and then we contract a local electrician. So if you guys have someone that you already use, we would just work with them to do the installation, but we would manage that and make sure everything gets done correctly.
Okay, so
Kind of the elevator pitch there.
I would assume the new conservation/secondary roads facilities, we've looked at the best lighting options we can out there. I mean, is there any reason that maybe you wanna review that? And,
Just a review, I'll get you what we have there.
And then, public health being the newest building, we're probably not gonna replace it anytime.
I would say anything built, typically I say anything built like 2016 is usually LED already, so.
No, that's not, it's an older building, I mean, it's a
But the lights
refurbished.
all- And the lights all did get changed to most LED.
No
most of them,
LED,
But they're in the
it's a free
hallway.
assessment, so
Yep.
maybe you
I
could,
say you count, I'd
Okay.
like that, yep.
Okay.
You can call me and do
This
that.
building's pretty well been retrofitted over to lighting anyways.
yeah,
The only other ones would be some of your secondary road shops, I don't know, I know you guys probably replace when you have lights go out, you replace them, but not sure where you'd be at in on those
I'd
buildings.
have to look, but I know that, yeah.
doesn't hurt to have them look at
No,
it,
heck
just
no.
check it out and see what we come up with, so, yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Do you guys want, is it have time today or?
Public health, I have time today if you wanna come over after the meeting.
Road foreman, he
You have a number, you want me to give you a call later?
I can, I can talk to either my Colton up in the office or the road foreman.
Okay, no worries, I'm no rush right now, but
No.
I got some time
Yeah,
this morning, so.
just work with those guys there after the meeting, and we can go from there. I appreciate you coming in, and appreciate the emails, and, it never hurts to look at,
Send us an email.
especially some of the newer buildings, getting them up to date, saving some energy, so. Cause it does make a difference, I mean, I know my home is half of what, with all the new lighting, it's half of what my son's is.
The lights are on all day long.
Yep, and they're on all day, you're right here, so. All right, employee handbook updates. First thing would be the Cobra language recommended change from assured partners. And we discussed that at the handbook meeting, right?
Yeah, and Teresa's coming.
Okay. I'm gonna sneak out, guys. You guys came for the RFPs,
Thanks,
thank you. Come on in. You're in the hot seat. So we're talking the handbook changes right now, so, the Cobra change first, I guess. Assured partners, we need to make that change. And what was that again? Just
Basically,
language.
yeah, basically, well, one decision you kind of have to make. Assured Partners is saying that when somebody retires, they have the chance to either go on COBRA or retiree insurance. If you go on retiree insurance, you can stay until you're 65. If you take COBRA, you only get 18 months. But once you take COBRA or retiree insurance and you drop it, you can go back and forth. But the big change would be if you have an employee who turns 65. They no longer get insurance, but they have like a family policy, they have
A spouse.
a spouse or even dependents on there,
Yep.
their whatever. We need to make the decision, are we going to let them be offered COBRA or not? And Assured Partners is suggesting that we not allow that.
And how come?
Because it could increase our risk. Claims, it affects our bottom line. But they're not wanting us to do that.
So basically at 65, when their Medicare
Kicks in.
kicks in,
Regardless.
they're off our insurance,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, whether they
Right.
keep working or not,
No,
No.
if they are an
Keep
employee,
working.
they can stay
but they
on.
can stay on it.
This
Okay.
only applies to whether if you're on on the policy due to retiree status or COBRA.
Okay,
So the difference between COBRA and retiring status, can you,
If you are retiree, you can stay until you're 65. COBRA is basically 18 months after your
stay on at
last-
65 at your cost?
Yes, yes.
Versus COBRA is more expensive generally, right?
And yeah, they can tack on a 1.2%
but it's
or
usually,
2% increase.
usually the cost of the premium is what the employee would be paying for
Mhm.
COBRA.
So right now, we don't offer that, or?
Oh,
our
no, we
handbook
do.
does- Okay, I'm
We
just
do.
curious how it
We
would
have
work.
to offer COBRA.
Just
Yeah.
language,
And we offer retiree too, but we have to make sure we let them know, and I have a packet or whatever, a letter that
system.
they've, yeah, so I'll let them know that. They'll make their decision, but once they hit 65,
and they're,
that's it. We're not gonna
Right, which
offer
makes
anybody
sense.
else if they're still able. But Assured Partners suggest that we do not allow that.
I see what you're thinking, I think, but
Well, I'm just curious as to, I mean, I get that there could be claims there, I do get that. But if they'd already had insurance through the county, like if you had a family policy, and someone gets old enough to retire, so we're just gonna,
No, they can stay on it.
no, but
Until-
but I'm saying at 65, so
The
at
family.
65, the family doesn't get
Right.
covered anymore.
they'd have to go on COBRA then at that.
No,
No,
They
we're
can't
not
even
gonna
say-
offer them COBRA.
they're saying
So
you're
we need
not
to
offer any of
okay.
that.
Why would you take COBRA when we have the other one?
Well, most people wouldn't.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, that's why
You know,
it,
they originally came out with COBRA, they didn't have the other one.
I'm not
That was
sure
an
on that
18-month deal for you when you got let go of a place or you know, something like that. You were able to get insurance for 18 months till you found a new job and could get yourself covered
Yep.
under insurance. That basically all it was a gap deal by the federal government, right?
one. And that was back in the day when you didn't want to have a gap between insurance. Now it really doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean,
Think of it as, I mean, and like I said, kind of give your gist to this, but a person that's gonna retire is probably gonna not just retire, come in here today and say, I'm retiring tomorrow. They're gonna plan this 6, 8 months ahead or even a year ahead. They should be able to pick up
Find
another
time
policy
to-
for their
yeah.
family and it does limit the
and if it
liability
is
of
the
the county.
claims things and it does, then it
Yeah,
I
probably
can tell
is
you, we have never had, since I've been here, anybody
even do it.
even have COBRA or retiree on family plan.
Right.
It won't happen very often.
And the way, what Assured Partners is saying is that, you know, we've been insuring this person, which they bought the family policy, but now this person is going to retire, no longer work. We shouldn't continue covering their family because the.
Only when they
insurance
turn
is gone.
Potential claims,
Yeah.
and yeah, that could
Yeah,
cost.
so I understand.
Yep.
It could really increase our rates.
Right, which we don't need to be doing that.
And we have enough of that. I mean, just normal day to day.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So basically, we are gonna approve the recommended language change. I will take a motion to approve the language change for employee handbook.
I'll make that a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, and the motion will carry. All right, secondary roads granting overtime over 8 hours a day instead of 40 hours in a week to non-administrative employees and continuing the practice of counting holidays for the purpose of computing overtime on-call status compensation and living allowances.
Clothing.
What?
Clothing.
It's the safety clothing.
Clothing allowances. That's kind of really turning the word around, man. Yeah, so there's a lot in that, a whole lot in that right there, I guess, but.
I'll make a comment, basically putting into black and white what we already do as far as overtime goes, number one. Number two was, the language was already being, when we went from the union back to the county handbook, the language stayed the same for how they calculate the overtime, which probably isn't gonna really matter if we go to the over 8. And then the compensation for on-call is just for when one of the employees takes the phone for the foreman, because it seems like we have a hard time doing that. We don't, currently, there's no offer of compensation for on the weekends.
Correct.
And we need to get we need to incentivize that to let our road foreman take time off without always being on call. So we offered that up. And then the final one was, the safety and clothing allowance was something we always had, but they only got $150 per year, and it doesn't really help them pay for work boots. But if we can carry over up to $300 a year, or up to $300, that allows them to use more of that money to pay for a pair of boots versus paying for half a pair. I don't think it's costing the county any more money, but it just gives them the opportunity to save up to a maximum of $300 and then burn it down. So.
Yep. Which, as long as it's not a nightmare for you guys, and see what would be an issue on that. Yeah, I have no issues with the on-call status, clothing allowance. Getting holidays for overtime and over 40, I do have issues with, but that's me, so.
What was the last part that you got issues with?
Paying overtime just on 9 hours a day. And then the rest of the, then the rest of the week are off on vacation or whatever. I just have issues with that, and it's nothing, it's just me, so. You guys know where you're at?
I feel that, like if you're plowing snow, you gotta run 10 hours and 10 hours and 10 hours, and then, I think there ought to be overtime for them, anything over 8 hours a day.
That's the majority of the overtime we're getting.
Yeah.
That's, I do go along with that one. How much, as far as comp pay goes for the weekends, what
I think
are you looking at?
We were looking at what, public health does. It was like giving them 2 hours per day. So 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours Sunday for comp time.
Yep.
Just to be on call.
And honestly, that means that person, and I mean, 2 hours is very generous and, very nice. It's not generous if you ask me, because you can't go out, you can't go out to drink, you can't be out of the county, you have to be in here in case someone calls. So for us, for public health, it was better than nothing, because they were getting nothing before, but it's not like it's overly that much amount, because you have to be here.
I mean, you think that's not enough, or, I don't know, that's
It's
why
a
we
good
did it,
start.
yeah.
I don't think it should go any higher than that,
No,
It's a good starting point.
cause
you're
most
right.
of the time you're not
Because
gonna get called out anyway.
Because there is compensation throughout the week when they are working. We have that already,
Yep.
so.
And they should, because they're taking on the extra responsibility during the week and then availability on the weekend, I agree with it.
Yeah.
I
I think they should get something, I just don't know how much.
I figured this was a starting point. We were.
So, just to clarify, if they take the phone home on the weekend, they'll get 2 hours of comp. If they get called out, will they get both?
Yep. That's,
Okay, I
well,
just wanna
sorry,
make
that's how we
sure
do it.
that we
Well, they
do it
should.
right.
They'll still get their comp whether
They
they
should.
get called out or not.
Okay,
And then
Because they
get
took
paid
that
the hourly rate.
responsibility. They've
Got
gotta organize, they've gotta,
And then if they go out, they get paid
Yep.
to go out.
And it's 2 hours per day, not per
Yep,
weekend.
per day,
Right.
per day.
So 4 hours
Yep.
for the week.
Yep. I just wanna make sure we're doing it right.
yeah, no, I know,
So,
I don't have a problem with any of it.
So I will take a moment, second discussion. We'll just do a roll call. Wilbur,
Aye.
Stone,
Aye.
Smithy will vote nay. Okay. Anything else good on handbook?
Aye.
Okay, for now. Building grounds, anything on that now?
Oh, Teresa?
Nothing I know of. Boiler shut off.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
And
I don't know
for
how
servicing
yet.
it for the last 6 months.
you know we're gonna have one real cold day yet.
That's alright, I just gotta figure out how we gotta, if we're gonna drain everything down or do whatever,
Is that what
but
they normally would have done?
I don't know. I don't think so,
Or that would be
I think they just allow things to keep circulating, but I gotta talk to Levi and see what he recommends or what they've done
Keep
before.
circulating, you still have heat on there, how's that work?
Well, once the water cools down, the boiler won't fire back up, I got that shut off, so it'll just move through the system, but then we're not putting an additive in there because the pump only runs when the boiler calls for heat
So
and it
you're
needs
not
water.
adding additional water?
So we're not putting that additive in there, so I don't know if that's something we need to drain back, that's what I gotta figure out, so.
That's good professional.
I'll talk to Levi on that, and if it's something we do, we'll probably just have them do it. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, we're done the conservation pay applications, right?
How's that going over there?
Slow start, have a meeting Wednesday.
I saw an email come through, I'll be working right outside of town, so I can probably sneak in
Yeah.
and attend that if I need to.
Get an update on, I assume they're gonna start picking up the pace here pretty soon.
Getting organized, I suppose. Okay. Is Melissa on here today? Okay. I don't have it up, so I don't see her.
I don't either.
See her on there?
Melissa?
Hello?
Maybe.
Oh, there she is.
I can't do the host needs to start my video or something, which is fine. I don't need to be seen. I have a city council
Couldn't
meeting
hear her
tonight.
last time.
Yeah, she's been having some,
She been on mute or what here?
Microphone issue? Melissa, you there?
Hey,
Faster than you.
all right,
hear me now?
If she pops, if she
Oh,
gets, she
yeah.
figures it out, we'll talk to her.
all right. Hey, we got any department heads specifically? And Jake, I'm gonna throw you under here right now, under the department head, just the questions on the comp time. This is all just discussion today, there's nothing going on here, just kinda wanna know what's going on with that. And why we're doing that.
With what though?
You're giving your employees comp time for,
When they work the hours they work, we've been doing this since we've ever done it. If they,
cause you're the only department that's giving any comp time, and I don't know what it's really for, cleaning desk or what.
Well, it states here,
what's that?
you got comp time down for cleaning.
Well, that's when we have to do the vaults and everything like that, the stuff that the cleaning crew can't do. I'm not gonna pull them away from their daily duties to do that. We do that, the vault cleanings and stuff like that once a year,
Once a week?
once a year.
Year, okay.
But as far as like we still have, the only thing they clean in our office is the front office. We have to still do all the back office and everything else where, when we had Brian, he did everything, but now we're down to, I don't know when they come over, they just do the entryway.
I don't know, what are they cleaning,
Oh, I
Jan?
thought,
I thought they were
I thought
cleaning
you
the
were
whole
doing the
office.
bathrooms and all that
Yeah, they do
stuff.
the bathrooms.
Bathrooms,
Yeah,
front,
But like any of the workspaces and.
right, we do all, yeah, we
Yeah.
don't do workspace, yeah, we do all our own
And
workspace.
so like every workstation, that's our whole counter, all our desks, and then we have she doesn't do like in the back there, like a bullpen, and then in the back office.
Would you like her to do that?
Yeah, she can.
Oh, okay, cause,
And then like the garbages and stuff, yeah, we don't. The only thing that she's been doing.
did
is
you
just
make that checklist like I asked for her to have, a checklist? Cause then she could do all that, you and I had an
I thought she had one.
well, you were gonna make her up one, like a checklist.
Okay.
Cause then she could do that, then you wouldn't have to have your staff
Yeah.
do it,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanna make a checklist for her,
yeah.
cause, yeah,
But otherwise, the comp time is for, when we do, if we have a call into Tyler or whatever, and they call 4:00.
And they do.
If we don't sit there and take care of the problem right then, we don't get it. If we have two people working, they don't get lunches then, so we get an hour comp when there's only two people in the office, we get,
They get comp when there's only two people in the office, is why?
because they don't get a lunch.
Why would they not be able to rotate out of there, one of them or whatever? I mean, we can't go at the same time, of course, but.
No, but we always have to have two people in our office. So we have to do dual authentication on a lot of our transactions and stuff for the state, for, driver's license and motor vehicle stuff.
So then you have how many employees?
4.
And you're down to 2 some days?
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 people take a day off at the same time, or somebody has a day off, somebody's sick. I mean, we have a lot of times where if somebody is on vacation and somebody calls in sick and they were still in the area, they'll just cancel their vacation and come in for the day. I mean, this is how we've done it for 20 years, I guess, you know? We're also the balancing at the end of the day. We lock the doors at 4, but they don't get to leave until 4:15 or 4:30. And that's the nature of it. We have to be open, the doors open from 8 to 4, so the public has our hours, but once we lock the doors, we still have to balance and sweep all our stuff to the state and run our reports. Like I said, I guess we're carrying 3 days of comp is all we're carrying right now for our deal. I mean, they use it, they make it and they use it. I guess I've never had this come up before.
I was just curious, I mean, because no other offices do it, I didn't, you know, it's.
Yeah. But yeah, with like with foot traffic and stuff, I mean, so when we get there, they have to be there at 7:45, the doors open at 8, but it takes us probably 15 minutes to get everything up and running, and we have people standing outside waiting at 8. You know, if the state's good enough with driver's license, they let us close at 3:30 so that we can sweep everything to the state before we close that, but motor vehicle, we're open till 4.
Okay.
Good explanation.
Yep.
Didn't know all that.
Yep.
And as far as the clean goes, that's just, you
Yeah,
guys
and
just need to talk.
Yeah, like I said, there's the cleaning the vaults and stuff, like the stuff that
Yeah, they can.
nobody else can do, that's once a year, so. It's just, all of them
Send me
stay,
a
I mean,
list.
yeah, and all of them just stay for a half hour and there ain't much to it, but, yeah. This year we hauled a bunch of stuff out and.
That's kinda all we needed to know, I guess, hopefully, so.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for the explanation.
yep, appreciate it. All right.
Melissa chatted, there was a problem with
Yeah.
the video, do you?
She did send me a message.
Okay.
So, she just said that you gotta unmute her.
Yeah, it's like, I was like, unmute yourself, but there was something going on.
She has a meeting with Thompson tonight, she'll be in Altoona for the DEV conference on Tuesday, Wednesday, IEDA will be on Friday. To finalize a CAT grant, I wrote 2 years ago, I'm not sure what the CAT grant's for, she didn't say, but. So she, you wanna jump on,
What
she
was the
shook that?
cat grant?
That
What's that?
catalyst, the community catalyst grant, that's that,
He's working on it.
She's not muted, I don't know why it's so quiet.
Well,
We got the gist of it.
we got the gist of it, Melissa. We'll
Sounds
get this technical difficulty figured out someday, so. All right, any comments from supervisors at all today? Anything you got? Anything upcoming, any things that Jackie hasn't heard about?
Fair.
Meeting today with Rich.
Yeah.
Put the fair on there.
The fair,
That's
yeah, you
not
might wanna get that
conflict.
on there, that ain't far away now, so.
Did you ever get back a
No,
financial statement from?
Ours.
Yeah, Jackie, I gave it to Jackie, that financial statement or whatever from the fair board.
Oh, I didn't,
Yeah,
didn't I
gave it.
pass it on or?
No.
We had it down here, we looked at it.
Oh,
Did we?
Did you want a copy of it?
He not there that day maybe or something?
no, I've been there. I probably,
We
there's a
looked
lot
at
of, lot of stuff coming
You
in.
did,
They
Chad
lost
got
about
it.
10 grand
Yeah,
last year.
that's.
Oh, I did remember seeing that, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got it to us.
So you're good or you wanna see?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay,
Needs a refresher course.
well, there's a lot of things going on,
Right.
so, all right, so I guess nothing else to come before us, take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
One second.
Second, no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried. 12 o'clock, right?